Holy, 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 merciful and mighty. You are God in three persons.
I just want to spend a few moments in the presence of God. Just a few moments.
As we worship you on your throne, as we worship you on your throne, oh Lord, we worship you this morning. We worship you, Lord.
Father, we hail you. We bless you. Come, O Lord, and manifest yourself. Come, stretch forth your hand to heal. Let signs and wonders be done in the name of your holy child. Thank you for utterance this morning. Thank you because we will preach your word and you will confirm it with signs following. We covenant with you now that for all that you're doing and what you've already done and what you will yet do, we will be careful to give you all the praise, to give you all the honor. Pray for everyone listening. Always down. Pray for the strength to continue this journey. Pray for the eyes that will see the opportunities. Pray for the divine visitation. Changes everyone. Whatever is we pray for that. We know is necessary. We know you can pray. The finances of everybody. Every temptation reveal. Thank you because we know you started it long before you've already made progress. We step into that progress. Thank you. Continue.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank privilege. we will gain from this morning. I will bow down here. Pray. Father, we thank you. Thank you for this privilege and opportunity to be here. Thank you for the time that we're living. Thank you because you, O God, have made a way. Father, we also look at open our eyes. Father, we yield ourselves. I yield. We will speak that which is of you, that which you want your people to hear and learn. That will turn their life in that situation around for good. That's all. Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Once again, good morning, church. Also want to welcome those who are watching on various social media platforms. We're looking at the topic of calibrating the time of Christ. That we calibrate the time. This spend many 10 nonsense. A crisis is an event or period that will lead or may lead to an unstable, dangerous situation affecting an individual, a group, or all of society. I think some talking about it this week or last week. We had the incident and you know that it has affected price of food, good stuff. A crisis spans over a period of time. On our lives, and its effect upon us as a community. It says that crises are negative change in the human or environmental affairs, especially when they occur abruptly with little or no warning. That's very important. That crisis happens without giving us a forewarning, without warning us ahead that it is coming, especially with what happened with the COVID-19. Sorry, I think the system is like this. It says, now I like this. The reason why I put this particular definition, it says that a condition, crisis is a condition of instability or danger, as in social, it could be economical, it could be political, or international affairs, leading to a decisive change. And I'm particularly bold in that phrase, decisive change. What happens when crisis occurs? Crisis leads to a change. The COVID-19, for example, whether we like it or not, it has caused a dramatic change in the way we live. It has caused a dramatic change in the way we live our life. It has caused a dramatic change in the events of things. Now we have to go out with face masks. Now we have to go out carrying sanitizers. Now even the way we do business has changed. And I want us to take note of that. That crisis, when it happens, it causes a decisive change. It says the COVID-19 global crisis has thrusted many businesses in a tailspin, forcing some to cut operations. It says reduced staff or worse. In some cases, it has closed the doors of businesses. Businesses are shut down. And in actual fact, not just businesses alone, even people in career, some quite a lot of people have lost their jobs. It says business owners worldwide are looking for ways is to shift and apply the necessary changes that will help them get back on track once the pandemic is behind them. It's not just, what is peculiar about the COVID-19 crisis is that the COVID-19 impact and its effect is not just a section of a particular or to a particular group of people. It is in its effect that has come across the entire world. And we can't say it has affected us tremendously. Now let's look at the definition of recalibrate. It says to recalibrate is to calibrate something again. It says this system gradually drifts off course so that the navigator periodically needs a fresh point of reference to recalibrate the navigation system. Now, from this definition, there is the key words that we need to note that there is a point of reference. I think it was a couple of months ago that Mr. Olumide was speaking. He spoke about recalibration from the point of view of the fact that there must be a destination. There must always be a point of reference. There must be a goal. Now, this is the with the expectation. Which means that for you to get to a point where you recalibrate, you must have a point of reference. You must have, there is a goal you must have set for yourself. There is an expectation that you intend to accomplish. And you are now looking at things from the point of view of that reference. Are you still on course? Are you still on track? Because oftentimes when crisis sets in, it pushes us off course of moving towards accomplishing our goals. I like this definition. It says recalibrate means to change the way you do or think about something. And I want us to pause a bit there. I want us to really pause a bit there and think. And please, we know that Real Success Seminar is always focused more on business people. But I also believe that even as a career person, you are a career person in business, in somebody else's business. So it also affects you. Because take, for example, last year, businesses, particularly the banking sector, even up till now, I don't think all branches are opened yet. They still staggered their operations. And think about it. During the pandemic, where there was a shutdown, the banks discovered that without people coming to work, they were making more money. Through their machines. What do you think will happen? They had to lay off staffs. Because all of a sudden we found out that we really do not need as many people as we think we need to get the job done or to meet the bottom line. And that's why, don't forget, let me flip back a bit. Look at this definition of crisis. It says a condition or instability or danger as in social, economic, or international affairs leading to a decisive change. Look at recalibrate. It says to change the way you do or think about something. Now let me ask us a question. Whether as individuals, in families, as individuals in business, as individuals in career prospect, between last year and this year, has the COVID-19 affected the way you do things? Has it affected your thinking pattern? Has it made you to adjust some certain things? I'll just quickly give this as an example. When the shutdown started, When the shutdown happened, let me tell you, sometimes when we come on the pulpit and we talk, it's just like reading the Bible. Events in the Bible takes a long period of time, and we think that it took maybe 24 hours to happen. When the COVID-19 shutdown, especially happened interestingly, even before your state didn't shut down really, because most of our businesses were outside of, we get most of our businesses from outside of Ibadan. So the moment Lagos shut down, Ogun State shut down, automatically what happened? Our business shut down. Because that is where our clientele, or most of our clientele, comes from. And believe you me, I didn't know what to do. I didn't. The first thing I just did in the office was sat down, looked at my bank account, both the company's account, my personal account, looked at how much that we had. I found that we really didn't have so much money in the company account because we've expended it on materials for production, which unfortunately customers had cancelled because nothing was going to happen. I looked at my personal account. I think I had less than about 25 or 30,000. And I wrote the check, gave it to one of our staff, go and cash the check. When the staff brought it, I said, see, this is all the money that we have. We splitted it equally and gave everyone and said, everybody, go home. I'm serious. I didn't know what to do. Or we didn't even know what to do. But we went home and we started studying. We started meditating. We started praying. But the prayer part of it, not as much as Pastor Isaac would have done. I was just, knew about fabric face masks, but we weren't convinced, especially from my wife's point of view, being a microbiologist. She just didn't want to do something that would end up putting people in harm's way, thinking that you are protecting them. And all of a sudden, and that is why, thank God for the topics that we always choose, because I believe that the topics flow into each other. Alone with God, all of a sudden, I was just in my reserved mood, meditating and thinking. And from the blues, a mail just came in from Pastor about this particular research on using t-shirts, 100% t-shirt fabric for face mask. And we looked at the study. I sent it, and when it comes to business, I and my wife, we try to do it as business. We don't talk so much. We send it by mail. When it comes to business, it's either a WhatsApp or a mail. And I forwarded it to her. And she was like, wow, this is interesting. It seems we have this. And she was a bit convinced about the research that was put into it. And said, okay, we have the fabric. And we ended up going back to work. This was, I think, after 2 weeks. So it wasn't like we closed yesterday and got back the following day. No, it was about 2 weeks. And, just lightly. And the reason why you know that we spent that about 2 weeks at home, some of you will have seen, maybe then my wife's, what's this DP or something you call on WhatsApp, that she was braiding my hair. It was during that period. So that you know that we spent quite a lengthy time at home. So now, the interesting thing was that we went back to work after 2 weeks, said, okay, we have this material. And also after studying, looking at because what we also did was that we looked at what other fashion companies across the world were doing at that point in time. And we found out that most of them had shifted towards producing either face masks, producing ventilators, things in the health sector. And we went back to work and just produced a few. And just said, okay, this is the little that we had, and we just distributed it. Believe you me, that was what kick-started us going back to work every day. To the extent that even during those crisis period, we were spending almost every day overnight at work. And I can tell you we produced quite a lot, to the extent that we even produced our own branded one. Listen, crisis causes a change. And recalibrating must also affect the way we change, we do, or we think about something. Let's revisit the core. Now, look at this again. The definition I started with says to recalibrate. It says that gradually drift off course, so that the navigator periodically needs a fresh point of reference. Let me tell you, you can't just recalibrate on nothing. It's not just about saying, people are changing, let me too also change. To what end are you changing? What were your initial outlook? And having drifted off course, or crises have pushed you off course, what do you need to do to get back on track? The first thing I believe that we need to do is, number one, stop. Tell someone, say stop. Tell someone, say stop. Once in a while, we need to just drop everything that you're doing. How many of us know that was what the pandemic did for us? It just forced everybody to stop. Then secondly is for us to not just stop, is for us to reflect. What are we reflecting on? Number one question I believe we need to ask ourselves is, what is my goal or my expectation? Or what was my goal and what was my expectation when I set out? Pastor in one of the teachings spoke about, what is your business philosophy? What were you headed out to accomplish? Number two is, how far have I veered off course? Let me tell you, even without a crisis sometimes, what happens to us is that by the time we are on a journey, there are several distractions on our way. Several distractions. You see, somebody is doing this stuff and it is fantastic, and you just want to drop and pop by and see what the person is doing. All of a sudden, a family member comes in with challenges, which is also a right thing to do to assist. And it keeps going on and on and on. And before you know it, you're already off course to where you are actually positioned to go to. And it's important for us to sit back and ask ourselves, how far or to what degree have I veered off course? But do you know that you can't answer this question if you don't have a goal that you have set out to accomplish? You don't have a destination you want to reach. And the third one says, what do I need to do to get back on track? Let me tell you, especially when I say with what is happening all around us right now, I can tell you that the pandemic has pushed people totally off. Totally off. And all of a sudden, we're chasing things that were not even part of our earlier goals. I'm not saying that we can't stop to redefine our goals. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you really sit back, because right now, Pastor just prayed about it in the area of finance. This week I had it tough, especially in the area of finances. And you will find out that all of a sudden, because you are barraged left, right, and center with one demand or the other, and you're not able to meet it, before you know it, you are venturing after things that doesn't even concern you at all. I found this up. I've already put in the reference at the bottom. Defining values. It says values require you to answer the question, why do you can personalize it, why do you do the things the way you do them?
Why? And I think it's a great time for us to just step back and ask ourselves this question. Why do you do the things that you do? Because you find out that if, for example, the reason is to make money, you'll find out that there are a lot easier ways to make money than what you're doing right now. It says value should not simply be a tokenistic and polished statement of impressive sounding virtues, but a guidepost for strategy and a touchstone for decision making. Let me tell you, when crisis comes upon us, what crisis oftentimes does for us is that it puts us in a position for us to redefine or reassess our value system. That are you really standing by the very things that you believe in? Are you standing by the things that you profess to do? Yesterday, Pastor was at the leadership meeting, though I had a bit of network issues, so I was just flowing in and out of the meeting. We're talking about culture. And think about it. See the way even our culture systems have almost vanished away. Now, young boys, artisans don't want to work. We had a job to do this week, and we were trying to say, okay, can we get some of the guys that worked with us during the lockdown? And they told us that they've gone to Yahoo Yahoo. They don't want to work. We got one in. We were to spend the night at office. We got one, a young guy in. We got him in. And the first complaint the guy had was, oh, these machines are not good. They are just cutting the thread. I said, okay, leave that one. Move to another one. It was still the same complaint. After he says that, we were running all night, oh. He had not spent 1 hour. He had eaten our food, oh. And after about 1 hour, he now came back and says that, I am not doing it again. And slept off for the rest of the night while others were working. And let me tell you, it's easier to talk about those guys. Let's talk about us. You are in a crisis position. You are in a crisis period. And the only thing you need to do, or seemingly need to do, to get the next advantage in business is for you to give a bribe. It says they are a living thing, something central, still talking about value, something central to the daily life of an organization or a brand. Tell someone, say you are a brand. I didn't say you should personalize it, Dorcas. The reason why, because individually, we don't know that individually we are a brand. The scripture says something, says that we are epistles written. And we don't know that what we do, what we say matters. It says the space and the awakening a crisis. Listen to this, please. It says the space and the awakening a crisis provides us with also gives us a great insight into what our true values are. Let me tell you, and please, I just want to use practical examples that I've seen. That's just all. I'm not trying to maybe rob anyone's ego or anything. During the pandemic, at least once in a while, especially after the lockdown, when we came back to church, I had the opportunity of sitting with Pastor severally. And one of the things that struck me about him is the fact that, Pastor, no business, and you are paying salary. No business, and you did not. Shebi, you heard what I said when I started, Abi? What did I say? I said I checked my account, withdrew all the money, Abi. and shared it amongst everybody and said to what? Everybody, go home. Which means what? I didn't pay salary afterwards. Until after work came back. But here is someone, no job, no booking. Sometimes when I sit with him and I say, Pastor, I don't understand the kind of person you are. I don't think I can do this one. Oh. And I'm serious about it. Because the truth of the matter is that crisis test the values you profess you believe in. It says that it gives us great insight into what our true values are, both as companies and as individuals. And it's offering us, listen to this, it's offering us an opportunity to fortify these values moving forward. And we've said this often and often again over here from this pulpit in this house that we are a different breed. Even in business, we must exemplify that difference in terms of our value system and in terms of what we do. The next thing is driving purpose. Now, these are the things which I believe are some of the things that are reference points to help you to recalibrate. It says the question of driving purpose is one that goes to the very heart of relevance. Why do we do what we do at all? It says it involves the true reason for the existence of the company. Posing questions such as, if you were to cease to exist tomorrow, what will be lost? And this is one of the things I find interesting, especially amongst us as Christians, especially in this house. And all of a sudden, people say, somebody did this, somebody did that, I'm not coming to church again. But the truth of the matter is that, ask yourself, will you be missed when you don't come to church again? Will we miss you? And the true reason is that the only thing that will make us miss you is the life of impact that you have. And it's also important for you to ask yourself, not just only in church, even at your place of work. Do you know that despite the fact that in the workplace, people are being sacked, some people are not sacking them, they are promoting them. It says, with the threat of this philosophical question seeming very real to many businesses in the economy, and sometimes, please, you have to interchange, when you see businesses, interchange it with yourself. Because this is more talking about business, but interspace it with yourself. Maybe in your career or in whatever thing that you're doing. It says, to many businesses, in the economic uncertainty of our current world, it says there is more reason than ever to find an authentic answer to such questions, which will provide the motivation and direction to move forward when the crisis is over. It says recalibration is fundamentally a crucial practice for all businesses to engage in, regardless of the state of the world. However, it is when crisis hits that we are able to see with a unique clarity the true internal state of our businesses. Let me tell you, during the pandemic, the lockdown, because in Oyo State, it doesn't seem as if we have any COVID-19. But there is, so don't say I said there is none. There is. We just pretend as if nothing is happening. I did a lot of soul searching, did a lot of sitting down, did a lot of read. Let me tell you this, that's the reason why you have to associate yourself with good and quality people. One of the things which sometimes I miss when I don't do it, one of the things I enjoy doing with pastor is when we sit down and we bang and we. There was a day that I was in pastor's office for close to I think about 6 hours. If pastor will remember, and we were watching movie. But right in the middle of the movie, we will pick some lessons to learn. We will discuss about it. And we'll continue. You know what that does for me? I go back to my business and say, okay, I talked about this. This is what pastor is doing. Okay, what can I also do in my business to get prepared for whatever eventuality that may happen? Sometimes I sit back, I look at what Mrs. Silk and Pop is doing. I do that a lot every Monday. Every Monday. Because I've also adopted that mode that new streams have adopted. Monday is day off. If you come to work on Sunday. So on Monday, I'm busy browsing fashion outlets in Ibadan. What are they doing? One of the days I saw Mrs. Silk and Purple. Who is